Okay, cool. All right, so I'm starting. Ooh, don't kick the table, son. Cool. So I'm starting this video series, video diaries, entries for Jono, you, my brother, my boy, my friend, my colleague, my lover, all of it. Let's restart, and then I'm not gonna restart anymore. Um, so I wanted to start a video series, video diary entries for myself, um, for my future self when I'm up against a corner, up against a wall, up against a rough patch, and not really recalling why I'm doing what I'm doing. I wanted to be able to channel and return to some of my own memory and experience with creativity, with spirituality, with purpose, with a will to change, and be able to recall the why, um, recall the what for, recall some of the lessons, and just share them out. Firstly with myself, and then hopefully, if folks are interested in this too, I can post them online, and others maybe find inspiration or just find questions to ask themselves in their own processes and journeys toward their higher purposes, toward their higher calling, and towards their higher creativity. Uh, Whatever's up there. I mean, like literally in the broadest definition of what higher means. I think uh, more aligned, more in tune, more focused, more abundant, more beautiful, more loving, hopefully more joyful, but not always. Because I know there'll be rocky patches, like that's why we're doing it in the first place, cataloging and journaling. It's also to keep my head on straight, because it's very easy to not, with so much happening in the world, so much distraction. The reason I'm recording this even on the light phone that I'm looking at right now is because it is another way I've invested in staying creative and staying attuned and staying engaged amidst a lot of distraction. So um, yeah, having a phone that pulls away a lot of that distraction from my day to day, limits my interactions with social media and stuff like that. It's just another way I stay invested and stay engaged. So I have two books in front of me. Books that I know I will grow to love. Right now, they're kind of, at least one in particular, is a little scary to look at. Even though it's gorgeous, it's a gorgeous book. So one of them is The Artist's Way by Julia Cameron, and the other one is Hospicing Modernity by Vanessa Machado de Oliveira. Um, Ate that up. So both books feel important right now. One, of course, is just a uh, regimented journey to accessing my creativity in an honest, truthful, reflective um, way, the artist's way. I've started this book like four times now, I think, in my life. I've had it, I don't know, at least for 4 years, maybe more. Um, as you can see by my bookmark, I'm on week one still after 4 years. So hopefully, I think video diary entries is gonna, like every week, I think is gonna help me uh, stay committed this time for real. And also, I had a friend come over and tell me, actually my partner's good friend come over and tell me that Dochi, the legendary Dochi, that did this as well with the Artist's Way. And now look at Dochi, y'all, in 2025, snapping and popping off. I think she started the book in 2020 after finding it on the streets of Brooklyn. And I just watched like 10 minutes of the first video of her, that, like before she even got into the curriculum, talking about why. And I was convinced that this is something useful to do. So I'm gonna do these video entries once a week. I'm gonna have them, post them, share them, but really try to do it for me. I'm not gonna overproduce, over edit, like spend a lot of time trying to make it pretty for anyone. I just think the words need to come through. So as long as you can hear me and see me clearly, and my phone doesn't run out of battery, they'll be there. And again, take what you want, and leave what you don't need. I hope you can find that stature and stance around the world. Uh, but anyway, back to speaking to you, Jono. You're gonna want to start from page one. You've read it a few times, but you're gonna want to start from page one and really try to soak in the lessons this time. There's an audiobook version available as well, but this time I think I want to read it physically. Not while I'm in the car, not while I'm on the way to work. Those are not like actual creative moments, you know. It could be, but it's not. That's not the focus of those moments. So I want to be able to sit down with this intentionally, set aside time every week to really go through each lesson, um, and do those daily pages, boy, which have been good for me in the past. I have enjoyed writing 3 pages a week. I did it for a few weeks this year, and then travel. Me and my partner traveled, and um, we got sidetracked, and I think we lost touch with our daily pages. Um, I think I'm gonna do them in these legal pads that I got going on, because they do look so ephemeral and temporary, and they're like perfectly laptop size, so they go in any bag. And honestly, um, I don't need anything cute. It doesn't have to be cute. That's one of the messages of this season. It doesn't have to be cute, but it does have to be true. So I'm gonna start journaling in these, going through these lessons, and then at the same time, maybe before bed every night, I'm gonna try to read a little bit of Hospicing Modernity, which has been recommended to me by a few people, and expressed to me in courses like the Next Economy Lift MBA, for example, where we have this framework of hospicing the modernity that is right now to be able to also, and at the same time, cultivating and nourishing the birth of the next economy, what will be. And when I think about this in context of the work I want to do in my life, I think about our modern conceptions of commodifying art and commodifying some of these gifts and ancestral traditions that have been passed on to us, and what we lose in that commodification, what we lose in the need to press for platform fame, monetary compensation for our creative work, which is not ours. In my, like, at least how I say it to myself, I think my voice that I have, my gift of writing and words and reflection and creativity, these are passed on to me by my ancestors. They're inspired by ancestral lineages and traditions. So like, they're not mine to commodify, and they're also not mine to hold back. Like if I'm holding it back because I'm nervous, that's self-deprecating, but it's also collective deprecation. So um, when I think about, back to the point, hospicing modernity in context of the creative economy, I think a lot about how to break this cycle of dependency on the extractive economy that's draining some of the power of our creative gifts, and move into a orientation where our gifts are cultivated in, I like circles as a model for it, but they're cultivated in these safe rings of nourishment that allow truth to spring forward, that allow possibility beyond what we could imagine, that allow for collaboration without the burden of competition, which is what so much of what we exist under right now as artists. We have to write grant applications, or we have to go out for tryouts and auditions, or we have to impress some executive to be able to get a spot on a small roster. I like the next version of that, which isn't about the competition, but it's really about what do we need collectively, what truth do we need to spring forward, and how do we get there together with the gifts we got, period, in the artist economy. And that sounds, hopefully it doesn't sound too highbrow, but most importantly, I hope it doesn't sound like we won't be well financially or stability wise. Like I want to be able to figure that out, and I think that's part of my creative process, is figuring out that economic and organizational and structural piece to how to cultivate my work without the burden of competition, of commodification, of selling something. To be honest, because like I said, I think my art is sacred, and I want to be able to do that justice and do that well. So I think between this book and this book right now in my hand, we're gonna go there and see what's there. And I'm gonna reflect at least weekly on this, and then hopefully daily in my pages, and um, start going back on those artist dates, which can be so fun. Some good committed solo time to nourish my inner artist, and whatever else this book has to offer. Julia Cameron, she snapped with this one for real. Like she did. I know she did, because independently, so many people have said they picked it up and it changed their relationship to themselves. And I have to send this to my colleague Carol, who I think needs it too. So I'm gonna send her a copy. Yeah. Peace, y'all. Peace, Jono. Keep it up. And remember why we're doing this. And I love you.